We'll get this party started. Good afternoon, everyone. It is 5 o'clock on this beautiful day, Tuesday, May 6th, 2025. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the St. Croix County Board of Supervisors. We're going to start with the invocation from Randy Simonson. Randy? As for a roll call, all supervisors are present with the exception of Supervisor Osnes and Supervisor Carlson, who will not be able to join us tonight. I did hear from Supervisor Barkalow, and he's running a little late, so we'll give him an extra 15, 20 minutes, and he should be here. Public comment. I did not receive any slips. Do we have anyone that would like to address the board? Any public comment? Any public comment? Don't be shy. No public comment? Okay, we're going to move on to our consent agenda. Do we have a motion for the consent agenda? Motion to approve by Supervisor Burning. Second, Supervisor Otino. We'll leave the floor open for you tonight. And we're ready to vote on the consent agenda. And that motion passes 15 with 1 abstention. Okay, we're ready to move on to a very special presentation. I have had the good fortune of working with Supervisor Otino for quite some time. So we're going to recognize you tonight, Rick. Now's your time.
It's been a pleasure. I'm going to let Robbie know I'm going to give him my number. If they run astray, they can call me. I don't know if I'll answer right away, but thank you all so much. I appreciate it. Thanks again.
Thank you, Rick. You going to come back and vote with us? There we go. Okay, we have one additional very special presentation, a recognition of Assistant Corporation Counsel Anjali Patel's 2025 Putting Families First Award. And we have the presenter, Michelle. Please join us.
Well, thank you. I'm Michelle Lesha, Children's Services Administrator. Thanks for putting this at the top of the agenda because we will get to go home after this. I'm here to kind of present and inform all of you of this great award that Anjali Patel had received earlier, actually a couple weeks ago. In February, I had an opportunity to nominate staff or county partners to receive this award and looking at the Children's Services initiatives to keep children with their families. And I couldn't find anybody more deserving than, well, I nominated two people, actually. My staff, my supervisors, Matt Zabel and Jessica Dodge, and their staff in CPS, as well as community partners Anjali Patel and Teresa Beyer. And the state chose Anjali and Teresa Beyer to receive this award. So we went down a couple weeks ago. What's special about this award is that when looking at our out-of-home care numbers, going back a few years, in December of 2022, it does a snapshot in one day. So December 31st, 2022, we had 106 kids in out-of-home care. In December 31st, 2024, we had 60. And what that means, it means a lot, right? So there's a lot going on behind the scenes that maybe we don't know other than just the numbers. What I see from an administrator standpoint is Anjali working with staff, meeting with them, discussing the cases, processing safety, coming up with creative ideas, not agreeing with us all the time, that's her job, but also, working with the guardian ad litem and having safety meetings and talking about how we're doing our job to be a part of it. And so that has been huge, as well as looking for permanence for kids. Permanence doesn't always mean going back and being reunified with a family. It could be a guardian. It could be termination of parental rights, worst case scenario, right? But with her hard work, as well as the rest of the team, we wouldn't be at these numbers. And I actually looked today because I'm like, I wonder what they'll ask me. Like, where are your numbers at today? Today we're at 54. So, it's great. We never know, right? We can have this influx. We never know what's going to happen. But this is a well-deserved award for Anjali. She gets to put one in her office. And then DCF is sending me one for Teresa Beyer so she can have her own as well. So, congratulations, Anjali. Thank you very much. Look at those standing people. I'm going to say anything else. Yeah. She didn't want to say anything, but I'm just staring at her. I'm like, I think you need to.
I kind of got put on the spot at the ceremony as well. So I really want to thank Michelle for nominating me and Teresa for this. As she said, it has been a lot of work. But when Corporation Counsel took over the CHIPS cases, we knew it was going to be a lot of work. We knew we were going to have to partner with Children's Services and with our other community partners to make sure that we are doing what is in the best interest of these children. And what is in the best interest is having kids at home with their parents if we can make sure that we're doing that safely. So it's been a lot of work, but it is very worth it to make sure that kids are safe at home, that we are helping families and keeping as many families together as we can. And I am just very appreciative of Michelle recognizing that and the state recognizing that as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle, and congratulations, Anjali. We're very proud of you. Thank you. All right, we're going to move on to our county administrator's report. Ken?
Thank you. A couple of things. One is a couple of the notes that I have under the financial section. I think there's a lot of uncertainty that we're facing right now about things that are going on with the state budget, with the federal government. I think the next 3 to 4 months should be very telling about where some of these things land and hopefully give us some clarity before we get too far through the budget process. But there's just a lot of uncertainty amongst the staff right now about what's going on with those items. So that's something that we're keeping an eye on, and we'll keep you apprised of that as it goes. And then we already recognized Anjali, so the other thing that I want to point out was the significant accomplishment that our HR director had, and I know this is not work-related, but, you know, it's kind of a big deal to have a world title under her belt, so I wanted to point that out. If you look at the financial numbers, our sales tax, while $810,000 for the first month of the year, looks low. Really, the first month of the year is always that low. That's actually the highest we've had in the past few years. So undecided yet on where the sales tax for 2025 will go, but so far it's starting off pretty much status quo. Any other questions on anything in the financial report or my report that you had questions on?
Any questions for County Administrator? All right, seeing none, we're going to move on to our business items. The first item is the resolution establishing the 2026 budget priorities. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the 2026 budget priorities.
And second, Supervisor Counter. Supervisor Burning, would you like to enlighten us?
I don't know how much enlightening this will be, but basically we took a culmination of what we've talked about here in the committee of the whole, went to admin, talked about it, and this is what we came up with, are the making sure that the compensation, our current employees are taken care of, making sure that health insurance doesn't have a massive impact, and then things follow suit after that. So Ken, if you can, or Administrator Witt, if you could explain why you numbered it differently again, or put it the way that you did, because you've changed it from how you've done it in years past.
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of vagueness in the way that we worded this, and that was intentional to provide some flexibility as, you know, this item goes up, this item goes down, so we can weigh those. So compensation, so we said instead of a step increase or instead of a COLA, we say compensation. So we're going to do something for the employees because that's important that we continue that. Health insurance is the 2%. That's kind of more rigid. We'll make sure that we come in as close to that target as possible. The other items then is addressing additional resources for the circuit court. So increasing funding. It doesn't say by how much. It doesn't say to fully fund all those, but increasing the funding for that. And the same for the out-of-home placement costs, allocating additional funds for that so that we start closing that gap that we have. And from there then are the position requests. And as the county board chair, I think preference was, is the county administrator will prioritize and recommend those positions as we get to that level of funding. And the last item on there was UW extension. So I don't know how far through this list we'll get. We'll probably do something for the top 4. As far as 5 and 6, though, those become questionable whether we even get to those. And every year with our budget priorities, we don't accomplish everything. We don't have enough resources to do everything we always want to do, but that's where I kind of see us falling this year.
Questions on the budget priorities for 2026? Supervisor Rice.
Yes, my question has to do with our estimated health insurance at 2%. Is that based on historical averages, or do we have some basis for that, or is it a wish?
Probably a little bit more on the wish side than anything else. Our historical average is probably about 5%. In some years much higher, some years much lower. So it kind of goes up and down. But because we're a self-funded health insurance plan, we have a little bit more control because we can really manipulate the design of the plan to help drive it to that. And so when you say that you want a 2%, when the market industry is probably going to be in that 7 to 8% range. That means we're going to change copays, deductible, out of home, or maximum out of pocket, co-insurances. We're going to change those parameters to help shrink that premium cost to 2%.
Other questions on the budget priorities? Okay, no other questions. The motion is to approve the resolution establishing 2026 budget priorities. Okay, thank you. That motion passes unanimously. All right, we're going to move on to our second business item, resolution amending personnel policies, remote work and IT acceptable use. We have a motion for this resolution.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution. I'll make a motion to approve the resolution amending personnel policies for remote work and IT acceptable use.
Motion to approve by Supervisor Burning. Do we have second? Supervisor Shirley. Who would like to explain this one?
I'm going to turn it over to Audrey.
Audrey's here, back. Don't throw any darts.
Champ.
So for the remote work policy, basically starting January 1st of next year, Minnesota is implementing their new paid family and medical leave law. And eligibility for the program is actually based on the number of hours that employees work in the state of Minnesota over the previous 4 quarters. So that impacts us this year. So St. Croix County is opting out of participating in the new Minnesota paid FMLA program, which would otherwise require us as an employer and our employees to have tax contributions to pay for that leave. So to comply with the law and avoid triggering participation, employees for St. Croix County will now be limited to working no more than 50% of their total hours in the state of Minnesota. So that's the main update to the policy that impacts employees, is that their work in Minnesota cannot be more than 50% of their time worked for the year. The IT acceptable use policy, basically on that one, we just, in order to streamline our policies, we have decided to eliminate the cellular and mobile communication device policy and just incorporate the relevant information from it into our existing IT acceptable use policy. It just reduces the redundancy and avoids extra signatures that we need from employees. That is it.
Questions for our HR director? Supervisor Burning?
I just want to continue to applaud you, Audrey, for staying on top of everything and all you've done over the last few years of cleaning things up. So thank you.
Thank you.
Supervisor Rice?
From a practical standpoint, do we have any numbers of staff that this might influence regarding the 50% in Minnesota?
Yeah, so we have employees that live in Minnesota and work remotely. We also have employees that live in Wisconsin but also have to do work in the state of Minnesota. Maybe they meet with clients that are in hospitals or at different locations within the state. And so it doesn't define just remote work in Minnesota. It is any work that you are doing during the time frame that you're employed. So it really impacts all employees that actually have to cross the border and do part of their jobs in the state of Minnesota. But overall, we aren't really worried about the people working in Wisconsin. They aren't spending more than half their time over in Minnesota. So it really is those that are living there and have so short answer, 27 impacted employees that live in Minnesota. Out of those, around 7 were right around the 50% where they're actually working 50% or more of their hours over there. And so they are the impacted employees that are going to have to work more hours in-house or in Wisconsin. So overall, not too bad. 7 out of, 700 employees, depending on the time of the year.
Other questions, comments? Oh, Supervisor Counter.
After review of some of this information at the last admin meeting, we had help with the Human Resources Director, Acraft, which thank you, and Corp Counsel did a review, but I would like to move to amend the IT acceptable use policy to add the following. So employees participating in virtual meetings must use a professional background that is free from content that could be considered political, discriminatory, or otherwise inappropriate. While it is recommended that the employees use the St. Croix County background template, they may choose other appropriate virtual backgrounds.
Okay, there is a motion to amend. Can you be specific as to exactly where that's at, just so we can see it? Or it's just an addition to the personal use of social media, or not personal use of social media? Remote access?
Yeah, currently there's no language identifying this in the paperwork that you have, so this is an addition to what's here. And it was brought up as a concern to address that.
Or just exactly where would this be added, I guess is what my question is.
I think it's under user expectations. If
Right, it's not in there yet, because he's amending it and adding it, but that is where we would add that language to.
so it'll be
is
within the
user.
policy.
Yeah.
Okay, the motion to amend in a second. Questions, comments, concerns? Supervisor Rice.
Do we offer a background tool that can be used that says St. Croix County to lend some professionalism to the experience?
So Adam is currently working on that right now, on creating that, and working with IT then to get it, to see if we can have it as a background published on there already, so that the employees don't have to actually go grab it and upload it and do all that extra work. So we will have one available either way. It's just ease of use on the functionality for it.
Other questions, concerns? Okay, we're ready to vote on the motion to amend, adding the language regarding background with remote access. Thank you, and that motion passes unanimously. Okay, now we're back to the original motion regarding amending personnel policies and remote work and IT acceptable use as amended. Any other questions or comments? Okay, we're ready to vote on the original motion on the amended personnel policies and remote work IT acceptable use. Okay, apparently the button isn't working, but it did pass unanimously, so the wonderful world of technology. Okay, thank you. Moving on to our last business item, I'm actually going to do something a little different, a little unconventional that I've not done before. However, I'll explain in a minute, but what I'm going to be doing here is temporarily vacating the seat of chair for purposes of this specific business item. The chair will pass to Vice Chair Fiedler, who will act as chair, again, for just this business item. And that's in accordance with Article 2, Section D1 of our board rules, which covers the temporary absence of the board chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And with that, I'd like to recognize Chairman Lung to bring a motion to the floor to bring the third item of business, the extension of the county administrator's contract, to this body.
And I would move to approve the resolution extending the county administrator's contract.
I recognize Supervisor Burning, and he seconds the motion. Discussion. I recognize Chairman Lung for the first part of the discussion.
Thank you. And the reason I vacated the chair is, of course, I'm not able to participate in the discussion of business items. This happened to be one that I felt it was important that I provide comments on my perspective on the contract extension. So some of my comments will be very similar to the comments I made at the administration committee meeting a couple of weeks ago. So for those of you who were at that meeting, bear with me. However, I'd like to call your attention to the resolution, specifically lines 5 through 7, where we are recognizing the importance of continuity in leadership and the positive contributions of our county administrator in the management and administration of our county operations. And I guess what I've experienced over the last 4.5 years, going through our finances, our budget process, we've ended up with, some have been easy, some have been a little challenging, but we've ended up with good, solid budgets. Ken has done a great job in terms of structuring debt and restructuring debt, and his financial prowess has been a great benefit to us. And we look at this incredible building expansion. I can't attribute all the success to him, but however, we're on budget and on time. It's been a huge undertaking and really an incredible experience. So as far as county operations, I think we've all benefited extremely well. My personal opinion, I believe that the critical ingredient to any organization's success, whether it's public or private, is culture. I think culture adds a tremendous amount to an organization's ability to be successful and their impact their clients. And I think that over the last 4.5 years, I've witnessed Ken's development and cultivation of a very positive culture that I think has had a lot of impact. And I say that primarily because I joined the board 9 years ago. And let's just say that I believe the culture was different. I certainly don't want to say anything negative toward the prior county administrator or staff or the board at that time, but I've really witnessed a huge improvement in the culture of this organization in the past 4.5 years. And I really attribute that to Ken's leadership. I mean, we can look at the department head hires that he has accomplished over the last couple of years. I think they've been outstanding. And when you have that positive culture, it starts right at the top and right through the department heads, and it really ends up permeating through the entire organization. And what that ends up is you have employees who, for the most part, I hope, really enjoy their jobs and feel valued. And what that really ends up in is good customer service. And I shouldn't have to remind you that we're here and we exist as an organization to serve our citizens. And I think we're doing a better job of that now than we were 5 years ago. I suppose if you could look at the details of the contract extension, you could probably say, well, maybe it's a little rich or it's front-ended. But I've thought about that a lot, and I truly believe that the value that we will be getting over the next 5.5 years far exceeds the cost. So I strongly encourage you to vote in favor of this resolution. I really believe we're heading down the right path or the right road or the right direction, whatever phrase you want to use. And I think it's really important that we continue down that road. And I believe that we will be able to do so under Ken's leadership. So I encourage you to vote in favor of this resolution. Thank you for listening, and you're probably glad that I don't get to ordinarily participate in the discussions.
Thank you, Chairman Long. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we're prepared to move to a vote on the resolution to extend the contract of the county administrator. Final vote on the resolution was 17-0. The motion is approved, and the chair is returned to the chairman.
Thank you. What? Oh,
I just wanted to thank you guys. St. Croix County has a lot of really good things going for it. We have an excellent staff that makes me look good, and I look forward to continuing what we've started for the next 5.5 years now. Thank you.
5.5 years. Okay. Okay, any requests for future agenda items? Requests for future agenda items, Supervisor Rambert.
Thank you, Chair. Maybe just an update on those Excel meetings that we're having with regard to the solar panels.
You can also watch community development. We have regular updates at community development committee meetings.
I withdraw my request then.
No, I think that's worthwhile. Yes, thank you. Supervisor Rotino.
Could I ask to have permission to sound the gavel to adjourn the meeting?
You absolutely may when we're ready.
Thank you.
You're okay. County Clerk's report, correspondence, none. Okay, announcements. I do want to mention on once Supervisor Rotino has left us, that the process for filling that seat is covered in our board rules. Under Section G, number 3, covers vacancies. So in case you get questions from any of your constituents on what that process is, it is covered under the board rules. Any other announcements? Supervisor Van Summeren.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is an announcement or a warning or whatever, but first of all, I didn't realize Rick Otina was going to leave us. I'm a little disappointed he didn't ask my advice, but he didn't. However, I feel vindicated because I have a niece who lives in South Carolina, and she tells me that they have a wheel tax there. And
Thank you for that information.
yeah, it's just to warn you so you don't spend all your savings on new furniture. It's $75 a wheel, and that includes the spare tire. So that's $375 per car. So
Well, and I just
the
found
Bronco.
out today also that at over 70, I'm on a liability for auto insurance.
well,
Go
there
think
you
of that.
go.
You would think that would be a bonus, not a negative.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for that.
Okay, we have a couple more announcements from County Administrator.
Yep. I just wanted to make sure we recognize Supervisor Lynn's birthday. Happy birthday, Supervisor Lynn. She even came out to join us for the county board meeting instead of going to dinner with mom, so. And then also, we had the law enforcement memorial dedication yesterday, so it's down below on the back side of this building. So if you haven't had a chance yet to go see it, please stop down and see it. And on today, our second anniversary of the shooting of Deputy Lysing. So.
Okay, any other announcements? All right, it's 5:37. The meeting is adjourned.
And since I didn't get to vote no on anything tonight, I'm voting there's no adjournment. You all got to stay here. Thank you.